guys, here come the dollies. They got fresh sinkers, hot coffee, and the sweetest smile.
Welcome back to the Clubmobile, everybody. We are so happy to have you joining us today.
Hi guys, welcome back.
We're so excited to be joined by Jamie from On The Victory Homefront podcast. We're so excited to sit and talk to you.
I'm so excited too. It's so great to see you all this morning.
I feel like
Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you so much. I feel like we've been following each other on Instagram for probably over a year at this point, and I'm always like, we have to have her on. We have to have her on. And now we're here.
That's right.
Finally. Very excited.
Long time coming. Happy to be here.
Absolutely.
Good.
So, I mean, the first thing that really stood out to me when we found you on Instagram was that I said, "Oh my God, she's got such beautiful vintage clothing." And you seem to live almost not simple, but like less is more in that 1940s type vintage lifestyle. What kind of pushed you into that type of style, clothing wise?
I get asked that quite a bit, and I wish it was just an easy answer, like, oh, was this? Boom. But it was just multiple things just across my lifetime, really. My grandparents were part of the greatest generation. I used to listen to their stories. And my mother, even though she was a baby boomer, she was born in 47, with them as her parents, she would also share their stories because it wasn't like a switch, the war was over, oh, we're now living this way. They carried on that lifestyle, raised their children with that lifestyle. So I actually got pieces of it as a child, and I was just fascinated with that time. And I would watch the old movies, and I'm like, I want to live that, or I want that, or why doesn't it look like that outside when you see these ladies in beautiful dresses? And I'm like, I would dress up. Who doesn't dress up as a little girl?
Right.
Oh my gosh, all the time.
So, but I kind of push that back, as you grow up and you start your life. But it kind of came back to me, pushed me through the door, really, of dressing like that because I do have a special needs son, and he absolutely adores the past. I think it's because it's slower. It's very flashy now, very loud, very quick.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. And so he started watching silent movies and 30s movies and 40s movies. And he started listening to music and collecting the records and, Frank Sinatra. And I'm like, oh, kiddo, I love that. And having him get into that kind of reopened that door of my childhood, of how I longed for that too at one time. The good stuff, obviously, the visual stuff.
Right.
And I went on social media and I'm like, oh, let me just see if anybody else loves this kind of dress. And it turns out across the pond and our allies in the UK, there are a lot of women that dress that way. And I saw that on social media. I'm like, wait, what? You can dress that way? And that was it. That was it. And I've been dressing this way for over 10 years now. So
and you look great.
You wear it very well.
So well.
You do. You suit it, it suits you. And I feel like there's something, I mean, there's a lot of, now you can go online and buy a lot of vintage style clothing. But I feel like there's something to be said about it in this kind of era of like fast fashion, right? You have like Zara and Shein, and you can get a t-shirt or just like a going out shirt delivered to your door the next day.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, but I only paid $10 for it. If it falls apart in the wash, it falls apart in the wash.
Right.
Whereas there's something so much more sustainable too about these older style clothes that really have stood the test of time and held up so well.
Right. And I love that they have a story. Like every dress in my closet, when I put it on, I'm always just wondering, what did this dress see? What did the woman who wore this dress previously, what was her life? What was she doing? What was she thinking? I love that. And because these clothes are a lot more delicate than the clothes now. Like you said, the clothes now, if it ruins in the wash, it's no big deal. Everything I have to hand wash.
Yeah.
And because I have to put care into it, it almost makes me more self-aware when I'm wearing the garment as well and how I care for the garment. So I don't want these things have lasted 80 years. I don't want it to end with me. So I'm going to
Right.
take care of them. So it definitely has changed my thought process and the way that I think when it comes to purchasing items and what I'm wearing. And then also when
Mhm.
I'm wearing something that has this history that comes from the past, I'm also aware how I act in it. I don't know if that sounds funny, but
No, I understand
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
when I'm wearing the full thing, like I can't wear obviously a suit and a hat and heels at home. I'm on a homestead. I'm out in dirt. I'm chasing chickens. So
Amazing.
when I do get to go out in it, I see such a change in demeanor from how people react to me. In some ways, they'll just stare. And I'm almost oblivious to that now, wearing this for 10 years. I don't notice that. But I get a lot of really warm smiles, and I get to meet people because they come up and talk to me. And I see manners. And because I see that, it just makes me even more self-aware wearing these kind of garments. So
Yeah.
there's so much to it than just dressing up and looking pretty, which
Right.
who doesn't love that? But there's such more deepness to it.
Mm,
Mhm.
yeah. One of the things I was really interested in is where are you sourcing the clothes from? Are you finding them and then adjusting them to your size, like by sewing them? Or is it a case of going to, say, a thrift store and you find the piece you need and you are then creating from that?
Well, I lucked out that I did start 10 years ago because you could find a lot more items, what
Yeah.
we would refer to as out in the wild. So,
Mhm.
like at a thrift store, and they weren't high priced. So you could find them at estate sales. You can still find them at estate sales, but you're gonna have
Mhm.
to
You have to
get a little
dig.
elbowing in there.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't like going to estate sales personally. I would love to go,
It's
but
very
that's a
overwhelming.
whole nother story. We don't
Yeah.
But generally, right now, if I get anything new, I'm either sourcing them online like eBay or Etsy. Unfortunately,
Mm,
prices have gone up because I don't know if the demand is more or there's just not many items out there because there are more women and men that are wearing these pieces.
Mhm.
yeah.
So I do source them mostly online. I do sew my own pieces. I have a crazy collection of 1940s patterns. And I'm actually finding myself now sewing more of my own pieces because my lifestyle has changed this past year. And I'm out in the country and I'm walking the walk and of trying to live like my grandparents did. And I'm not going to put on my 80-year-old dress to go out
Right.
and
To go
garden
out
in.
in the
I
garden.
don't want that
Yeah.
story to end with me. I'll wear
Hmm.
that when I'm just doing light housework inside. But so I'm finding
Right.
myself sewing more pieces. But the pieces are out there. It's just a little harder to find. And as for sizing, I usually don't change my garments, the true vintage ones. I have shortened some, but I'm very careful how I do it so it can be let back out.
Mhm.
I'll go to a professional to have that done, but for the most part, I'm just aware of the different sizes from the 1940s to now. So,
Mm.
like right now, in again, I'm an open book. So, right now, I'm like a size 4 in dresses. In 1940s, I'm a size 16.
Wow.
That's
That's
crazy, the
insane.
sizing.
It's really just a numbers game.
It
Yeah.
The
really
Yeah.
measurements
does.
are the same. It's just that numbers game, and it changes throughout. So, in the 40s, I'm a 16. In the 50s, I go into a 14. And then around
Mm.
the probably around the 70s, I'm a 12. And then
That's
in the
crazy.
80s, I'm like an 8. So it's just going down
It,
as we go.
I feel like it's also like you can kind of see the trend with
Mm,
fashion and like women's sizing and how your size was like smaller is better as we
yeah.
went like further into time. Like, you know, by the time we got to the early 2000s, women that were wearing probably like a size 4 or a size 6 were being called plus size. So I
Yeah.
mean, it
Which is
really is
insane.
it's really a numbers game. It really
It
is,
is.
because
Yeah.
It's
even
just a numbers
now
game.
you go out, you buy a pair of jeans, and God, this is like my pet peeve. I'll go out, I'll buy a pair of jeans, and I'll go, I like these, and I'll see it in another color, and I'll just grab the same size off the rack in another color, and that pair doesn't fit.
Doesn't fit.
Right.
And I'm like,
Doesn't
Different
fit.
now. Like back
I
then,
don't
the
get, yeah,
sizes were uniform. Like if
sizes
it's
for
a
uniform,
16,
exactly.
it's 16. That's
Yes.
it. I can tell you the measurements right now that a 16 is. I can tell you what a 14 is. I can tell you
Mm-hmm.
exactly what those measurements are. So if I know my measurements, I'm going to grab that and I can grab a different design or I can grab a pattern and it's going to be the
It's
same
gonna fit.
The
measurements,
same
Yeah.
thing.
period. So I do,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's kind of a perk when you're getting vintage stuff is if you know your measurements,
Mm-hmm.
you can get those measurements. And usually sellers that are selling vintage items, they will list the measurements because they know. Like my shoe
Yeah.
size, there was no 7.5 back then. It was by measurements.
Oh,
So
wow.
yes.
That's
So
very
That's cool.
interesting.
I'm a 7.5 in today's
Right.
measurements,
Mm-hmm.
but in the 1940s, I'm a 9 3/4 because it's the measurement of the inside of
Yeah.
the shoe.
That's wild.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that shoe sizes
That's
went by measurements as
amazing.
well.
I can tell
I
you
didn't
how to
know that.
measure your glove size, your hat size. You have to
Oh
know
my
all these
gosh.
if you're going to go in that direction.
That's
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah,
That's
I
so
love that.
incredible. We should
That's
go visit.
amazing.
We should go visit Jamie on the homestead
Yes,
and
correct.
do
I will
some
put you to
vintage
work.
sourcing. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm working on my victory garden right now. I'm going to need some extra hands.
Speaking of, we would love to ask you about that. How has the experience of the memories of your childhood and then getting back into this kind of thing sort of helped you make what was known as a victory garden?
So it's going to go back to my grandparents again. I spent a lot of time at their house, and my grandmother did garden. She gardened until she decided to be a snowbird. And so we as kids, her grandchildren and her children when they were young, but then her grandchildren, we would have to go out and we would have to help her harvest what we were going to have for dinner. So we would go and pick the corn and we would shuck it. We would get the beans and snap them. And so that's something that was in my childhood that I can remember doing.
Mm,
And sadly, I never saw her. I mean, I was very little. I don't remember seeing her planting. I just remember seeing the finished garden and going out and
yeah.
going, oh, we're going to go pick the green beans today. And I'm like, yay! You know, kids, it's fun for kids. So, until it's not.
Right.
But then I remember she had a scary part of the basement and I didn't go in there very often, but when I did, it was the dark area, which is why it was scary. And she would have these jars of preserves. And sadly, I never saw her preserve them, but I
Right.
remember seeing the wall of jars. And they're in the
Mm,
dark area because that's the best way to preserve them for the long hauls. You want them somewhere
yeah.
dark. And that's
Mm,
why you'd see the root cellars and like the dark, creepy basements, and all the preserves are in the basement because of temperature and darkness.
yeah.
Right.
So that's actually played a huge role as I grew up. And I've always done some gardening, but this year takes the cake.
Oh, yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. I find
Do
it so
you,
interesting.
it is. Do you find that growing your own fruits and vegetables and canning food and preserving it, do you find that it's changed like be very honest, like, let's be honest, not all food in the grocery store is great. Even fruits and vegetables, right? We have to be very careful. I'm always very like mindful of what I'm buying. But
Yeah.
do you find that it's changed the way you feel like physically, like just growing your own, less of the, preservatives on them, less of the
Yeah, less of the
pesticides on them,
yuck.
that it's, yeah, yes, less of the yuck, really.
Mm.
Because I mean, even vegetables I buy in the store, I find like I have to like fully wash, even if I'm gonna peel it, like right, you have to it's like fully washing a zucchini or a bunch of
Yeah,
asparagus before I
yeah.
even put it in the pan. It's like I'm doubling my work and I'm
Yep.
tripling my chances of getting sick. It must be so much of a relief to know that the food you're growing is just the food. That's it. It's
Yeah.
just the food.
It really is. And I'm going to open up a little bit on
Mm.
really kind of what really threw me into doing the extensive gardening that I do now. I mean, first off, if I know you probably see in my podcast, but I try to bring in the 1940s lifestyle as much as I can into my life because I love how it was reusing things and doing a lot of things on your own, the make do, the mend, the victory gardens,
Mm-hmm.
everything like that. So, but what really tipped me into this, and it's because of what you brought up, is because of our current day worries about what is in our food. As I mentioned, I have a special needs son. So as a very young mother, right away, I was aware of things that were creating his personal situation worse, depending on what we were feeding him.
Yeah.
And so that opened the door into us learning about what is all in our food.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would garden here and there and I would do some canning, but it really wasn't until, and I can put this all into like, we can compare it into World War II too, so which is great. But in 2020, and I know that's everybody's going to think some of this, and this is part of it, right? We did see shelves empty, and we did have problems with getting certain items maybe in our
Yeah.
grocery store.
Right.
Not counting toilet paper, can't grow that, but but
Wish.
I also got really sick. And then
Yeah.
not from what you think, I actually had cancer.
Mm.
So, yes, I did.
My God.
I was diagnosed with cancer in September 2020.
My God.
And
Jeez.
I was in bed for a very long time. I had a lot of procedures done to take
Mm.
care of it. And I couldn't get up to feed my kids. And
Mm.
my husband and my sons were just doing all this takeout. And that kind of opened the door for me. I'm like, gosh, I need to like I wish I had stuff for them to eat and I don't. And
Yeah.
so that following year, my husband bought me my first pressure canner. I've always
Mm.
water bath canned stuff, but he
Mm-hmm.
bought me my first pressure canner and that went off. That was it. I
Mm.
couldn't stop. And that's where my canning journey and my preserving journey really took off. But not only that, because I am growing my own food or I'm preserving food from locally, not just,
Yeah.
farmers, but also stores if it falls in the guidelines that I specifically look for. And
Right.
then I can preserve that food. And I am finding myself to feel better, not just mentally, but physically. Yes, I'm
Mm.
clear now, but
Good.
Good.
Wonderful.
that opened my eyes to also, I'm like, why would I get sick? That doesn't make sense to me. I'm an
Yeah.
incredibly healthy person. I'm probably the healthiest person I know with my lifestyle and
Mm-hmm.
everything that I do. And so for me to all of a sudden come down with this, I'm like, something's got to change. And so this is the
Yeah.
direction that we went and canning my food and knowing what's in our food, I think has really played a crucial part. And
Mm.
it keeps driving me to do it because it's a lot of work,
Yeah.
but
Mm.
I'm driven to do it. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Because
is, yeah,
I
it's
mean, you can't put a
amazing.
price on your health. So, I
No,
mean,
no,
absolutely.
It's a lot
No,
of work, but
Those,
it's worth it. Absolutely.
yeah. For those that are in like the beginning stages of wanting to learn how to can and preserve, what have you found is the easiest place to start, and what would be the easiest thing to can and preserve for beginners?
so the easiest thing is fruits, like making jams and jellies. Number one, the easiest thing that you can start with. It's pretty unforgiving, and you don't need a lot of fancy equipment to do it because it's a
Mhm.
water bath can.
Okay.
So you can use, if you've got a stock pot that's just tall enough to cover your jars, you can use that to water bath can. You don't have to buy a special canner.
Mhm.
So there's ways to do that. You can just stick a towel in the bottom because you don't want your jars hitting the bottom of the pot. Just stick a
Yeah.
towel in there in the water, cover your jars, and like strawberry jelly, it's in the boiling water for like 10 minutes. Boom,
Mhm.
take it out, lids pop. You got strawberry jelly. That is just strawberries and sugar
Mhm.
and
And that's that.
maybe
And
some pectin if some of the fruits do need pectin.
mm,
Blackberries, literally just blackberries, water and sugar. Boom, done.
that's
That's
amazing.
incredible.
I'm always worried that when it gets to, because I've always been interested in it. I've never had the means to do it, or like the apparatus or anything to do it. I'm always worried that the jars are gonna smash and I'm gonna get glass in my eye when I put it in the boiling. I'm worried that it's just gonna
They
burst.
won't. They won't. We
It
do.
won't.
No, my parents do, and we do the tomatoes every season.
Oh yeah, yeah,
The big Italian families that do the
yeah,
big tomato event outside in the yard every year. That's what we do. So we'll buy the bushels of tomatoes and we boil them first, clean them, wash them. And
mm,
then once the skins peel, either peel the skins off and just put the tomatoes whole with some fresh basil into the jar and then the jar in the boiling water and wait for the lid
yeah,
to pop. Or we'll run them through the mill and make like just a sauce and then jar the sauce
mm,
and wait for the lids to
yeah.
pop. So they don't break as quickly as you think they would. You lose
worried
one
that
or
it's gonna
two,
be.
but you always run the risk of losing one or two.
I mean, there's
Yeah,
there's certain steps that you do take to
Hmm.
help
yeah.
prevent your jars from breaking,
Hmm.
because the biggest thing and why they would break is such a difference in temperatures.
Yeah.
So a lot of times anyway, if you're water bath canning, you need to sterilize your jars anyway, or at least you should.
Yeah.
And so you're already putting those jars in hot water while you're getting your jelly
Yeah.
ready, your sauce ready. And then you take those jars out, they're already hot. You're putting your hot ingredients in and you're just sticking it back in
Yeah.
the hot water.
Back in the
Boom.
hot. Yeah.
I have had jars break, but
Yeah.
they don't usually break out, they break in.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm worried about, that it's just gonna explode. And then I've got like, it's all in my face. That's
My
just a
pressure
random thing.
canner, the pressure canner my husband got, you should have seen the first time we did that. Pressure canners are a little scary because that
Yeah.
is the pressure that's in it. Water bath canning, there's not really any pressure. You're just boiling
Mm,
water with something sitting in it. The pressure canner has the pressure. And
mm,
so, but there are safety measures in place to avoid that. So,
mhm.
and all the pressure canners come with, instructions and you just follow along and it really limits it. Only one time did I have a jar just go phew. And luckily I wasn't like looking over
Like
it.
looking at it. Oh God.
I think
So
you've just described Winnie's
that
biggest fear.
That's, yeah,
wasn't
that's the,
that wasn't a canner issue. That was a lid failure. So and that
okay.
can happen. But for the most part, it's not bad. But what I was going to say is when we first bought the pressure canner and it was going up to pressure, my specific pressure canner ticks. So it sounds like a
Mhm.
ticking time bomb, which you
Oh
already
God.
have in your head that it's like a time bomb
Oh
because
my
it would
God.
explode.
No.
So I remember it ticking, and my husband's like, "Why is it ticking?" I said, "That's just the
It's just
noise
the
it makes."
canner, it's fine. It's just
Now
the
he's used
noise it
to it.
makes.
Now when it ticks, he's like, "Meh." But
Yeah.
I'm
The
we're
first
both like
time,
staring at it, like, "Get everything away from it. Just stay
yeah,
back."
move.
Oh, it was
Move it
really,
out the
really
way.
Oh my gosh.
Amazing. I love that.
But you know what's great about canning and that's great about like modern day technology is there is a lot of information out there for people who want to learn to can and preserve their
Yeah.
food. You know, even on social media platforms like such as I learned how to pressure can a lot. I guess I'm going to give this social media a little like thumbs up, but believe it or not, TikTok. I learned
Oh.
a lot from TikTok. And what helped me is that they were quick. It wasn't like
Mhm.
prolonging, this is a jar. This,
Oh yeah.
Oh,
no, like, this is what you do. You're going to do this, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, and you're going to put it in here. You're going to wait this long, you're going to let it come down to pressure, you're going to open, take it out, boom. And I was like, I can do that.
Yeah.
So there is just so much information out there now. And
Mm.
there are still even places around here. Since we moved here, I've noticed that there are places around our area that also has classes or discussions for people who want to learn to preserve their
that's
food.
really cool.
Something that
I
was the
love
same
that.
during World War II. There was along the
Yeah.
lines, you know, there were canning centers and there were gardens everywhere, and there were programs to help women learn how to preserve. And it was in magazines,
Mhm.
and there were step by steps. And so it's still available to those who want to
Yeah.
learn. And I feel like these days it's even more convenient. We don't even have to leave our house to
Yeah.
learn.
We
Yeah.
can find it all online, which is
That is the
amazing.
benefit of
Yeah.
social media. I mean, as
Yeah, if
dangerous
there's
as
one
it is,
thing
as
we can
dangerous as it
say.
could be, as much as it could suck you in, it is actually you find some pages and some people are very
Yeah.
well educated and beneficial, and you can learn something there.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But
Something
that doesn't
very
mean everybody
useful.
should sit and don't doom scroll on TikTok.
Yeah, don't
Don't
do
doom
that.
scroll. That's
You will
never,
Don't
rot your
ever,
waste your
brain.
life
ever
doom
good.
scrolling on TikTok.
But if
That's
you
why I got
do
rid of it.
stuff like garden and preserving food, that's going to keep you from scrolling on your phone. I'm just telling you
Yes.
because it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Keeps your hands busy.
Yes,
Keeps
it
your
Keep
hands
does.
busy.
It
your hands
keeps your thumbs
busy.
busy.
That's right.
It
Correct.
does. So, how did this kind of is push you into doing your own podcast? I mean, you have a podcast, it's called On The Victory Homefront. How did that start? Where did you kind of find the idea to say, you know what, I think I'm gonna open this door and go down this avenue with it?
Mm.
I think it was mostly because I love to share, I love to inspire. And I have had a lot of people in my personal life come forward and want to ask me questions, or if
Mhm.
they were following me on Instagram under my personal, you know, they would be asking me questions. And I thought, why not just share the knowledge that I've acquired and be able to maybe inspire somebody else to want to do the same thing. So, my podcast, it's kind of a mix of two things. I talk about my personal life, where I'm at trying to bring in that lifestyle into my life.
Mhm.
But then I also like to tie things to World War II and teach about the home front. I'm very, very passionate about the home front. It's something as I got involved with other activities or events, I've noticed the home front is kind of overshadowed. And I get it and I do understand,
Mhm.
but there's so much to it. There's so much to it. And it always blows my mind the more I learn about it. I'm like, I got to share this. I have to tell people about this. People need to know, or they'll be inspired, or, and so that's what got me starting to do my podcast. And it's
Mhm.
been hard getting it off the ground because it's a commitment, as you
Yeah.
both know.
Mhm.
It's a
Mhm.
commitment, and I already feel like I've committed myself to a lot of places
A lot
already.
of stuff.
I
Yeah.
have a habit of overcommitting. You can ask any of my
Us
friends.
too.
Um, but I'm passionate about it, and so I just want to share. And so right now, you know, I like I said, I'm working on my victory garden, and it's the biggest victory garden I've ever had. I feel like all my other gardens were just hobbies compared to the garden I'm having today, which is ironically the size of a traditional victory garden.
That's
That's
amazing.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the average victory garden during World War II was around 1,100 square feet, 1,011.
Wow.
Really? I did
Yeah,
not know they were that big.
Wow.
where they could have them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sure those in personal backyards, depending on where they lived, was smaller, but there would always be other gardens in the community. So but that
Yeah.
would be like the average is, or that's the size that they recommended
Hmm.
for
Right.
families to try to have.
That's incredible.
And I feel like during World War II, if you had a bigger garden than, let's say, I had a bigger, like, whoever had a bigger garden, you would swap, like, oh, I have extra of this, or oh, I have extra of that, and you would share with each other. It was really just a community of making do during that time.
Yeah.
100%. That would have been, without a doubt, what would have been going on in the town.
Right.
Because what was great about World War II and the home front is that there was a mindset that we were all in it together. It wasn't like I'm in it and then you're in it. It's like, no, we're all in it. And so
Right.
communities came together, and gardening is one of the many things that they came together over. And so there were gardens all over town, and they were schools were doing gardens, churches were doing gardens, families were also doing their own gardens. And so it was all over each area. So yeah, it was, they were all in it together, and they would obviously swap food. And have you ever read the book? I know you guys do a book club.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is it called Once Upon a Town?
Oh, we need to find it.
I
We need
believe
to
it's
find this
called
one.
Once About a Town, and it's about a canteen in
Mhm.
Nebraska.
Hmm.
Oh my goodness, North Platte Canteen. And in there gives
Yeah, we
example.
do have it.
Okay. And that gives
Yeah.
examples of even how farmers would bring their extra stuff in. And that's
Yeah.
how the canteen was able to be productive and be able to serve all the servicemen that came through the town,
Hmm.
because they
Mhm.
just brought it in. They were growing, and they're like, "Oh, I have this many eggs," because they had birthday cakes every day for the
Yeah.
servicemen. So it goes a little bit in there. Now, granted, those are farmers compared to Victory Gardens, but it's right
Right.
along the same lines.
Still the same
Yeah.
lines.
It's the same type of lending a hand. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think we have it on our list, Gabby, because I remember I sent you something like that. And I think ironically, Jamie, it was something that you had posted about it. And I was like, wait, we have to read
Yes.
this. This was months ago.
Well, we're
It's
gonna
an
fit it
amazing
in. We're
book.
gonna fit it in this year,
We'll
definitely.
fit it
It's
in
a
for sure.
great book. I cried. I cried all those books.
Oh, please.
Oh, so do we.
I've lost track of how many of these books that we've had on book
Yeah.
club that have left me just,
Sniveling.
oh,
Just, yeah.
at least you
Just
can
on the
snivel in
floor.
the privacy of your own home.
That's
I
very true. I
I
can.
will I will read on the bus going and coming to work because I'm like, oh, I get like an hour and 20 minutes in the morning and an hour and 20 minutes on the way home, so I pack in a good amount of reading. I have finished so many books on the bus where I'm like, oh my God,
Don't look at me.
oh, my stop is next. Oh my God.
Oh no, I have to clean up. Yeah, that's true. At least I can do
At
it in my
least you could do
house.
that at home where nobody can see you.
Correct. Apart from my kids who
Just
are
sit
like,
there and cry
Mama,
on the
why are
bus.
you crying again?
But see, when you got an opportunity to share, you get up, you're like, this book, everybody, this book.
Yes, everyone.
I think Goodnight Irene might be the one that really took me out the most so far. So far.
Oh yeah.
If you haven't read
Yeah.
Goodnight Irene, that
Love
one,
it.
oh
So
God.
good.
Can't even talk
We
about it.
were
I'll start
both
crying again.
we were both
Oh no.
like
Okay. I'm gonna look that one up.
Oh my
it's so
gosh. It's
good.
so good.
We it was me, Gabby, and our book club correspondent Sage all messaging each other at the same time because we'd all got to the same part
Hmm.
relatively at the same time. Like one got it one night, someone, and we were all crying, we were all weeping. And I believe one of the messages was, if we ever lose each other, we have to find our way back. And I'm like,
Oh
It
no.
really is
especially in
friend.
this day and age, it's not gonna happen.
Yes, it is really friend. It's really rooted in friendship, but it was one
It's
of those books where
beautiful.
you call your friends at the end and you're like, I just want to tell you I
I
love
love you
you.
so much.
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
very, very
But
good. It's
I
so
want to read
good.
that book about the canteens and
Absolutely.
I want to read it. Absolutely.
That
I'm
one's
so yeah,
specifically about the North Platte Canteen, which is
yeah. I'm so
unbelievable. And it
sure I
even has
sent you it.
personal
Yeah.
stories and letters from the
Mm,
servicemen.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
it's
yeah.
You never have to twist my arm to read a book, so I'm in.
No, absolutely not.
I am in.
Definitely add it to the list. A lot of the things that you make and cook, do you have a lot of recipes from wartime cookbooks specifically, or is it a case of you've found them online and sort of adapted them to your taste now?
So I'm actually glad you brought that up because I've been thinking about this week. And so most of the stuff that I can is not specifically what they would have canned back in World War II, only because our diets have changed.
Mm-hmm.
So also, the USDA and other organizations have changed safety for canning. So how they canned then is very different than what they suggest on how you can or what you can today. I'm not going to get into what I think is right or wrong or if, anything's missing the mark, but it is different. So I do can a lot of the basic stuff, right? I can tomato sauce, whole tomatoes, I can whole vegetables. But then there's jars that I'm making that I guarantee they didn't make back then that are whole meals in jars. And
Oh,
so it's
interesting.
kind of a mix of the same stuff you would have seen on the shelf in a family in 1943, for
Mm-hmm.
example, like the green beans, the corn, the tomatoes, and the jellies and the jams. So a lot of that I do, but then there's other things these days where, as time has progressed and canning has changed and our diets have changed, I now can do whole meals in a jar.
That's
So
amazing.
burritos in a jar is one thing.
That's so cool.
It's so delicious too. So in a day when I'm tired, I can just pop open a jar. It's already cooked. I'm just heating it back up and I give it to my family.
Amazing.
Oh my
It saves
God.
time. It's a lot of time doing it, but then it saves time for
Saves
you
it later.
Right.
down the road. So
Yeah, I need that. I need that recipe.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That was amazing.
I feel like I'm going to
And
send you
there's
guys
me
both a
saying, oh,
burritos in a
it's
jar.
yeah. And
Please
there's
do.
me after work. It's late tonight. I think I'll just, order takeout.
Order the burrito.
Order the burrito. And I'm like, but
Right.
it's a clean Mexican kitchen. Like, it's one of those lean kitchens. I'm like, it can't be that bad. It's probably still not that great, but
It's better than Taco Bell. I'll give you
yeah,
that.
it's better than Taco Bell. But,
That's not
at the
the
end of the
bar's
day,
low on that one.
what might also be better is just 2 scrambled eggs,
Exactly. Correct.
which I also have
Very
a habit of
correct.
doing.
So we
We all
don't
do.
really eat out much anymore. We have completely changed our lifestyle, and it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we did it gradual, and it can be very overwhelming for somebody who
Mhm.
wants to try to do more like the Victory Garden and preserving their own food.
Mm.
So it was very gradual for this. I had been, canning like apple butter or
Yeah.
strawberry jelly or something for years.
Mhm.
And it just this past 5 years, I've slowly started building up
Mhm.
where we're at now. I mean, I even now just make our bread from scratch. I don't buy bread items anymore. Everything that
Wow.
we eat bread wise is also, and it took a long time to get
Mm.
here. So,
Yeah, for
but
sure.
everybody can start small, just
Mhm.
bringing
Yeah.
small things in, like the tomatoes that you said that you do with your
Yeah.
family, Gabby. Um, it's just something along those lines. It's just small things. And maybe next year you're going to go to the farmer's market and you're going to see all these green beans and you're like, oh, I'm going to do green beans. Now, you do need a pressure canner for green beans, but you'll go to the next step and it's just a
Right.
process.
Yeah.
World War II, they didn't have much time to get into that
No, they
process.
didn't.
I
No,
know. They really
not
had to
at
hit the
all.
ground running. They
Mhm.
did.
Yeah.
Do you find that now that you do all this at home and you have such a cleaner lifestyle with what your food consumption, do you find that if you do go out and eat somewhere that you just don't like it? It's just like
Yeah.
doesn't sit right, doesn't taste the same, or too salty, because that's what I find. I'm like, oh, too
Yeah.
salty.
It's
Everything's
usually
loaded in
too
salt.
sweet for me
Too
or
sweet.
too much sauce. What are they covering up? Or
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
But I do find it. Now we still do go out to eat, but it's just there's a lot of times where I go out to eat or, we're traveling and I don't have anything with us and I have to
Right.
grab something and it doesn't settle very well in my stomach.
No.
Yeah,
So it
Yeah.
I
usually
had
feels very
the
heavy.
same. Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I just usually feel just yucky
Just
afterwards. So
yucky.
not
Yeah.
Yeah.
always, not
Hmm.
always. Let's get some really good food still out there, but
Mm.
you're talking about, the grocery store and how you go in and you see all these items. I mean, we don't eat like 98% of what you see in the grocery store. There's
Mhm.
very few things I'm getting from there, and it's usually items I can't do myself, like sugar
Right.
and um salt.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And I do get half and half at the grocery store.
Hey,
So
that's fine.
That's
That's
fine.
totally fine.
That's fine.
need my coffee.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but it's literally what I get from the grocery store will maybe take up half of one side of an aisle,
Right.
maybe if that.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, and so yes, my system has definitely changed
Yeah.
Mm.
with tolerance of other foods out there.
Yeah. Only because I know that we're trying to make a real effort in my family to eat out a lot less. We eat out once a month or for a special occasion. Like, for example, it was my daughter's 8th birthday a couple of days ago, and she wanted McDonald's. She has always loved McDonald's. I obviously partook in the birthday meal, and I have felt crappy ever since. It's been 3 days, and I still feel so yuck. So
Yeah.
it doesn't sit right with me anymore. And that's just me not eating out regularly like I used to.
Yeah.
And that is still me buying from the grocery store and making things at home. And I still feel yuck. So it doesn't sit right. I don't think it was ever supposed
No,
to sit right, to be
I get it.
honest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it's just
I'm very
yucky.
careful too when I mention this even to like my family. Like I'm not dissing getting stuff from your grocery store
No,
or
of
going out to
course.
eat. This is just something that we have just kind of morphed
Yeah.
slowly
Yeah.
into and going the direction of this lifestyle. It's definitely changed our outlook. It's changed what I can physically handle food wise. I do have more energy, which is good because I need it.
Yeah.
Um, I do find um I don't know, I just feel like I have my strength and energy back that I
Yeah.
used to like a long time ago. Like I'm
Mm,
turning 50 this year. So,
mm.
and I feel like I'm 30.
I love that.
That's fantastic.
I love
Thank
that.
you.
That's
You also
fantastic.
don't look your
No,
age. I would have gone way
I would
younger
have said
than
you
what
were
you just
probably
said.
my age. Yeah. I would
Mm.
have said you're probably my age. I'm
Well,
37.
thank you. That's why we're such good friends now.
Exactly, correct.
I feel very blessed to be turning 50.
Yeah.
It's hard mentally as a woman to be like, oh, 50.
Oh my God, I'm 50, yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, I'm 50. Darn right, I'm
I
50.
felt I felt very similar when I turned 30. I was sort of 29 was the kicker for me, and I was like, oh my God. And then I turned 30 and I wasn't that bothered.
Yeah, I'm not really that bothered turning 50 now.
Yeah.
Here, I would have been
Yeah.
like, oh, but
I
I'm
did
like, no.
all right turning 30. I did all right turning 35. When I hit 36, I said, "Oh my God, I'm on the other
Oh
side of 35."
God. Yeah.
Right? I'm on I'm on the side that's closer to 40 now. What just happened? How did I get
Both
here?
of us have had front row seats to each other's
And then I
breakdowns about
said,
turning an age.
"Oh, but I'm like, for some reason, and we've talked about this a lot, 35, 36, now 37 seem to be
Mm.
the years where I'm like, this is where I'm happiest. This is where I feel
Yeah.
healthiest. I feel happiest. I mean, we've talked again, Winnie and I, we've talked about this. We really, health wise, food journey wise, have
Mm.
done a complete 360.
Yeah.
I mean, you've lost a lot of weight. I've
Yeah.
lost a lot of weight. And like you said, things don't sit the same. Certain foods don't sit the same, but like the
Mm.
energy, the feeling, I'm like, yeah, I might be older, but I feel my best. This is where I feel my
Yeah.
best.
I feel better now
So
I'm
maybe
older
37 is
than I
not like
did.
closer to 40.
It's
It's
not.
just this is another really good year to do really cool
Yeah,
things.
I
exactly.
have never heard anybody, well, and I'm not saying that no one has, but I personally, in my circle, I used to, before I turned 40, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to turn 40. The year I turned 40, I think was one of my best years ever.
Mm.
I did so much. I was like, yeah, I'm 40. I don't know. And I've heard this from other people too. So don't be afraid to turn 40. I feel like 40 is like a turning point
Mm-hmm.
for a
Yeah.
lot of people. And for the people that I've spoken to personally, a lot of my friends are younger. They haven't hit 40 yet either. But those of my friends who have hit 40, I've heard nothing but like, yeah, when I turn 40, all of a sudden I'm like, you know what, I'm going to start doing this. And so they would start doing that. And
Yeah.
I told you that I've been dressing this way for like 10 years. That was when I was 40, was this whole change.
There it is.
So 40
So
is the magic number,
I
basically.
feel like
Yeah.
40 is where you're like, you really start to know who you are.
Mm.
You know who you are, you know what you want, you know what you want to go for, and you're
You're
not afraid
comfortable
of
with
anything.
it.
You're
Yeah.
comfortable with it.
The point where
Yes.
like, I don't care. I don't care what
Yeah.
people think. I don't care if people are gonna stare at me. I don't care if, blah, blah, blah. Um, and you just go for it. Now, I'm not saying it always ends up right, but you're in that mind. I feel like once you turn 40, you're like, boom, you hit the road running,
Mhm.
just trying to do something or going a direction, or you're like, this is the year I'm gonna do it because now I'm
Yeah.
40. So,
Yeah. I feel like
It's
I
so
hit that
true.
early. I feel like I hit that at 30, and it is a lot of it is because me and Gabby started this. I
okay.
think, I'm not
Yeah,
gonna I think I will still feel the same at 40, but I think us doing this has been the point, like the turning point for I think for both of us, for sure.
absolutely.
Um, do you have a favorite recipe that you like to make for your family or that you like to make for yourself?
Let me think. I'm always trying new things.
Mm.
Um, I would have to say, oh gosh, I don't know if I have a favorite because a lot of the things that I can specifically for my family that I didn't necessarily eat myself. Because
Mm.
up
Mm-hmm.
until this last year, I was a vegetarian.
Okay.
Okay.
So, I would make things for my family and be like, is it okay? How does it taste? What is that?
Mm.
And so, and as a mom, I think a lot of women can relate to this. Not just women, I'm sure there's men out there too, but I'm just, speaking as a woman and
Mm.
as a mother, you always put everybody else first. So you're like, what
Yes.
can I make them? What can I have that
Yes.
they like? And then I'm like, what am I going to eat? I'm just going to make a sandwich.
Upstuff and toast.
So I don't particularly have yet a specific recipe that either I can or I do love my meatloaf. Oh, I make
Mm.
delicious meatloaf, which was a very popular dish World War II. Just saying.
Very true, it was.
It
Um,
was.
but for canning for them, I feel like the biggest thing that they really love are just some of the vegetables I can.
Right.
They're not as salty. Like I make like a green bean and it's like a garlic green bean and they love it. I can't
Oh.
keep it on my shelves. So I'm
Mm.
planting a lot of green beans this year
In order to
in order to do that.
Yeah.
There's a dish called cowboy candy. It's like candied
Ooh,
jalapenos. My husband loves
Oh,
it.
I've
So
heard of that.
I've got
I need
20
that.
jalapeno plants right now started.
Oh my gosh. Oh my
Love
God.
that. I've
I
never heard of
have
that. I've
I
never
have
heard of
heard
that.
of it. Me
If you like
personally,
a
I don't do
kick,
yeah, I don't do spicy like that. Like if
I
I
don't
make
either.
chili, I take the seeds out of the peppers. But I'll
Yeah,
be
I
the
can't do
first one to order a
spicy.
jalapeno margarita, a
Yeah,
spicy
make that
margarita.
make
Like
sense.
that
How
makes
does that
no
work in?
sense. It's
How does that happen?
It makes sense to me, so that's okay.
makes sense to
Exactly.
me, okay?
So, because I've been kind of going down the rabbit hole. I
Mhm.
just am a natural researcher. I hear something, I'm like, I need to know everything about that.
Yeah, we do
Like
that.
research,
Yep.
research, research.
Yes.
And so, here's some just interesting facts from World War II with Victory Gardens. So, as you know, the America entered the war in December 1941. In March of 1942 is where they really started to talk to people and get information out there about Victory Gardens. And so I do have some numbers. I had to write them all down because numbers just don't stick in my head. So here's an estimated number for Victory Gardens. Pre-Pearl Harbor, there was about 5 to 6 million gardens in America. And that's because before Pearl Harbor, don't forget, America was in the Great Depression. Come the
Yeah.
30s, we were still kind of coming out of that. We weren't really in the Depression anymore, but we were still dealing with the after effects of the Great Depression. And I think a lot of people don't remember or realize the timing of that. And so there were gardens before that for those that were gardening because of the Great Depression, food shortages, but we were also helping feed our allies before we joined the war. So
Yeah.
we were sending food over to the UK because, as you know, their home front was also the war front. It was literally at their doorstep. So we were already sending food where we could. It was called like Bundles for Britain, and we would be sending them items, including food items. So there were already gardens going. Come 1942, there was a big government campaign as we entered the war, and we had about 15 million victory gardens. So you went from 5 to 6 million to 15 million in 1942. 43, that jumped to 18 to 21 million
Wow.
victory gardens.
Wow.
43 was definitely the biggest year for Victory Gardens, and I think a big role that played that is March 1st of 1943, the second book, ration book, came out. And in that book was the blue and red stamps that we're all familiar with, right? If you see ration stamps, you're more familiar with the blue and the red. The
Right.
red was for meat. That didn't happen until later in March. March 1st was the blue, and that was canned produce.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that is what really kicked everybody into doing Victory Gardens because that canned produce was now rationed. You were not going to be able to get as many of those items.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't so much that America was running out of food, it was bottlenecked because in 42, sorry, we're on 43, but in 42 was the gas ration. And the gas ration was in place to help preserve not just gasoline. Literally just did a podcast on gasoline because the gas ration was really to save rubber.
Yep.
And so you couldn't move food from one area to the other because of this rationing. So there were certain areas, like we talked about the North Platte canteen, where the farmers around there, they had an abundance of food because it wasn't getting anywhere else. They couldn't move it from A to B. It had to stay in the area. So there were some areas that were doing very well, and there were some areas that really needed to amp up their victory gardens. And certain items just disappeared. There were no bananas. Check it out. No bananas in World War II.
I've
There
heard that
wasn't.
before. I've heard that.
I'm reading Five Came Back at the moment. And there was a part where I believe the director, Frank Capra, he went to a pantomime in London while he's waiting for orders to go to a base in England before they go to the front. And he goes to a pantomime because it's the holiday season. And he remembers that the Brits in the theatre sang a song called Will I Ever Get a Banana Again?
Yes, there is a
Yeah.
song.
I think it's called something, Will I Ever Get a Banana Again? Or Will I Ever Eat a Banana Again?
And there's another song where it's like the guy's like, I'm going to war. What do you want me to bring back? I want a banana. It's literally
Yes.
like that.
Yeah.
I just want a
Yeah.
banana.
God.
It's so funny that I read that literally before I fell asleep last night because I will sit down with this humongous gargantuan book. It's so big. And yeah, funnily enough, I read that part last night. I believe it's Frank Capra while he's overseas in England.
Okay.
He's waiting for orders.
Wild.
If I'm wrong, I'm very sorry, everyone. But that's what I remember in my half asleep haze right now, is that I believe it was Frank Capra and he goes to a pantomime and they sing a song and it's Will I Ever Get a Banana Again? And apparently he says that everyone was joining in and having a wild time and singing about this banana.
God.
I
So
know,
it
isn't
just
that so
gives you
funny?
insight, right? And things you're like, wow, no bananas. And maybe you don't think it's a big
Yeah.
deal. But then of course we can just go to the store and get a banana.
Right.
So
But yeah,
we're not
but
looking
back
at
but
it the
back
same way.
then, yeah, back then in England, that was a very hearty breakfast was bananas and cream. So when
Okay.
there's no bananas, they had obviously lost one of their main breakfast foods and one that would sustain the kids while they were at school because it was so
Okay.
filling. It was
Right.
obviously
Wow.
fresh cream and a banana. Um, I don't believe it was like anything like oatmeal porridgey. I believe it was bananas and cream because it would like keep the
Huh.
kids full up until lunchtime. So of course, when things are rationed, there's no bananas. They're already losing one of the hearty breakfasts that kids and parents would eat. So
Wow.
thus, birth of the song "Will I Ever Get a Banana Again?"
Now everybody
Which is
needs to go
such a
like
funny name.
find that song. Listen to that song.
Please,
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go look it
honestly,
up. Wow.
you're gonna have to look it up. I'm gonna probably open the book in just a second and find the actual name of the song and find it because that's gonna bug me. But I find that so funny that I literally just read about that.
Yeah, it's
Very,
so,
very funny. Very
so
apt and
Victory
appropriate.
Gardens, they couldn't grow bananas so much here. I mean, nowadays I think we can figure it out, but back then it was
But back
like,
then,
boom,
no.
there's one of the things that are gone. So, granted, the Victory Gardens weren't growing bananas, but they were growing other things to make sure they didn't run out. And actually,
Yeah.
um, it says so total over the war years are about 50 million gardens planted at some point.
Wow.
Mm.
And they produced about 40% of the produce that was consumed in the US.
Wow.
Wow.
So that shows, you know, they were incredibly important. I don't think gardens get enough credit. Like even to this day, you can use that information, and
Yeah.
that's what I love to share. Why I love to share the information about World War II. I mean, World War II wasn't the first time we saw victory gardens. We saw it in World War One too, but you can learn so much from these past times to really incorporate into your life now. And I'm trying to
Mm.
do this not just to eat healthier, but I'm trying to bring down our grocery bill. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
Felt. Filled.
yes.
Yeah.
And so maybe it's not the same reason that I'm doing a victory garden that they did,
Yeah.
but it's still in my sense of survival because
Hmm.
nowadays our biggest thing that we feel things in is cost. And back then it was supply.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that I think that's the
Absolutely.
main big difference, right? But you can still utilize it. You can still learn from it. And that's why I love sharing this because it's just good information to know and to pass
Yes.
on to your children and other generations. So,
It's timeless.
It
Like even
is.
though it happened 80 plus years ago at this point, it is still timeless information that can still carry through to today, which I find incredibly fascinating that
It
it
yes.
is.
started World War I and went through to World War II. It's still
Yeah.
valuable
We
information now.
we as a society will always, we will always need food to sustain us. So
Yeah.
why not
What better way than to do it
sustain
yourself?
why not sustain ourselves with clean, good products?
Right.
Absolutely.
It has stood the test of time, absolutely.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I just
Really
used an
has.
example and I hope you don't mind saying it, but as you know, we had last year we had a government shutdown that shut down for a
Mm.
while and a lot of
Right.
people were losing their benefits.
Yeah.
And a lot of those benefits, of course, covered food.
Yeah.
And so I was like, take that and learn to grow something. A lot of these foods, these
Hmm.
plants can be in pots on your balcony. I know we don't all have the space that many generations may have had beforehand. I think a lot more people are now living in urban areas that are very populated compared to back then. Obviously, our population has changed. I mean, we had a baby
Right.
boom
Yeah.
where our population is much bigger, which means we're in more confined spaces because of the population. But there is ways to have a few plants on your balcony or have a small hobby garden and just help yourself out or find community in your neighborhood of those that do have bigger gardens. There are community gardens still to this day that you can help, you can volunteer at, and in return, you get some of the produce that's created. So there are a lot of ways to be able to do this kind of lifestyle, that those might be others that might want to do it. So it took us a long way to get to where we are now, to where I have property in order to have a typical Victory garden size. But it wasn't that way. I'd go to the farmer's market and I'd be like, go to the farmer's market at the end of the day when they're ready to pack up and go, is there anything you want to get rid of for a deal?
That's a smart idea. I've never thought of that.
That's
I've always
incredible.
gone
I
right at the
got lots of
beginning.
them.
That's incredible.
That's a smart idea. I've always gone right at the beginning and I've cringed at the price of a sourdough loaf.
So there's just ways, there's creative ways. They got creative back then, and there's no reason we still can't get creative now.
We can
We
do
just
it now,
have to find where those areas are that we can go, hey, I noticed this. You know, if I helped you harvest, do you think I could bring home a couple of boxes of XYZ or something? And a lot of, especially the small farmers, will be like, yeah, you know, it doesn't hurt to ask. They can only say no.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
Okay, say no, and then that's that.
Direction.
Absolutely.
And so there are ways to still, you know, bring this kind of thing into your life. And it's just fascinating, again, you know, what they had to do during World War II for Victory Gardens for food because of rationing, because of bottlenecking, and the skills that they had and they were able to pass on. You know, sadly, I didn't get to learn directly from a family member, but there's still information out there right at your fingertips.
So far from any kind of episode I think we've ever done.
It's so educational.
And it's so educational, and it's so open and honest. I'm really excited to share this one.
I'm excited to share this one. This has been excellent.
This has been so much fun.
I'm glad. I had a lot of fun too.
Good. That's what we like to hear.
That's the whole point, is that everybody has a good time.
Everyone has a great
time. Well, if you need anything, any other conversations in the future of anything Homefront related, I'm kind of obsessed. I've got a problem.
That's fine. You can keep coming back.
Thank you, Jamie, so much for joining us today. We had a wonderful time.
We had great time. This has been so fun. So interesting.
For all of our listeners and our viewers, get out there and get some fresh veggies and start canning.
Be healthy.
Yeah, be healthy.
Now is the time to start.
Now is the time.
It's never too late to change anything. So get out there and make a good change.
Agree. Thank you everyone for listening, and we will see you next time.
We'll see you guys soon.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
Bye.